You want a sword, do you, Thorfinn? A sword is a tool used for killing people. Who do you intend to kill with a sword?
Our enemies.
And who is our enemy? Can you tell me?
People? People like Lord Thorfinn.
Listen to me. Listen well. No one out there deserves to be hurt. No one at all.
What is it that makes us human? The fact that we can feel? Or the fact that we can think? Maybe it's the choices that we make. But what if I make a bad choice? Am I now less because of it? Or is that the very thing that completes me? If we're not meant to be perfect, then what do our flaws say about us? Surely within each of us, there is something that defines who we are. But what if that part is pushed or twisted or broken? How far can we fall before we lose it entirely? At some point, there has to be a line, a point where we stop being human and become something else. But what is it that could push someone this far? What makes us feel like less of ourselves? Fear, pride, the insatiable hunger for more. Before these took hold, something kept us whole. But maybe it's the loss of those things that turn us into something else. Maybe this is what turns us into a monster. That kind of transformation wouldn't happen overnight. Despite what many believe, monsters are not born. They are meticulously created. It is a slow, deliberate process, unfolding through countless moments. It's often unnoticed even by the one being transformed. 1,368 small compromises, each justified in the name of survival. You tell yourself it's necessary, unaware that somewhere someone is keeping track of the score. But gradually, the weight of empathy begins to lighten. The gentle knocking of kindness fades into silence. The once natural motion of care grows still. The people who once filled your world dissolve into shadows. Their faces are forgotten. Their voices grow mute. In their place remains only the object of your fixation, a hollow pursuit that consumed everything. And in that final moment, the human is no longer human, but a monster born of their own unrelenting desire. Even as the path to becoming a monster unfolds slowly, it's not a path without warning. In the end, what separates the human from the monster is purpose. The monster's purpose narrows, consumed by pride, greed, and vengeance, seeing only itself. But the human holds something larger than itself, the willingness to see others even when it burdens them. The world will always give us reasons to let go of these things, to turn inward. What makes us human isn't that we're perfect about it, it's that we chose to hold on to that purpose when everything around us tempts us to abandon it. Vinland Saga emphasizes the idea we become that for which we live. At first glance, it may seem like the show is about revenge or survival, but to the observant eye, there's a steady paradigm between purpose and humanity. Purpose, in other words, becomes the crux of one's humanity, and that's critical. A person can spend years fighting for something they believe is right, only to turn around and see the destruction of who they once were. And no character illustrates this better than Thorfinn Karlsefni. Even though they never experienced it, the concept of war and battle was quite popular in the village Thorfinn was raised in. Thor's, his father, ironically cultivated this village to escape that very thing. Despite Thor's own experience and proficiency in war, it was something he renounced in the end. Thor's found his purpose. This allowed him to change the course of his life and what he lived for. Though he tried instilling these values within Thorfinn, it was all but too late. Thor's died. This loss triggered something in Thorfinn that cemented the next decade of his life. Consumed by one singular goal, kill the one who killed your father. In that pursuit, Thorfinn slowly lost himself. Everything that once made him human began to erode. He became cold, hollow, a killing machine, committing egregious acts of violence with little to no remorse. And then Ocelot, his father's killer, died. but not by Thorfinn's hand. When the thing that you've dedicated your entire life to is stripped away, what is it that you're left with? Well, you guessed right. Nothing. Nothing but the weight of your own sin, forced to finally confront that very pain he once inflicted on others.
Father, you're back! I have to tell you something. I had the most bizarre dream. At one point, you were standing on a boat getting pelted with arrows.
I smell blood on you. Who have you killed?
We see him clinging to what little humanity he has left, hanging above the world he's been a part of for so long, surrounded by the faces of the warriors he fought alongside, and the blood he helped spill. Even Ocelot appears, sitting atop a pillar, calmly drinking among the sea of corpses. This moment is pivotal, because it's here that Thorfinn finally realizes that these bodies aren't abstract. They're his victims, the lives he's taken, and it's Ocelot who reminds him of this truth. For the first time, Thorfinn is forced to face everything his father tried to teach him, but he was too blind to see. Vinland Saga shows just how much purpose shapes the lives that we live. Thorfinn's journey wasn't isolated. His world was filled with people who reflected different paths. Ocelot is a monster in his own right, calculating, manipulative, yet driven by what he believes is noble, protecting whales. Canute, once a fragile prince, transforms into a king, consumed by power, using God's name to justify tyranny, losing himself in the process. And then there's Einar, a man who suffers deeply yet never gives in to hatred. Where others fall, Einar holds on to compassion, becoming the quiet force that helps Thorfinn reclaim his humanity. The contrast between these characters reveals how purpose defines not only who we are, but who we become. Humans are peculiar creatures. Every action they take, whether noble or cruel, is born from desire. The longing to have, to become, to escape, or to be loved. But desire alone does not shape them. It is pain, the ache of loss, rejection, failure, and fear that carves their character, molds their will, and teaches them who they are. And yet, despite all their wisdom and intellect, they spend their lives trying to suppress these very forces. They bottle pain, deny desire, chase distractions, and silence. But no matter how far they run, they cannot escape the truth. They are bound to their emotions like a sailor to the sea. This bondage is not one of weakness, but of nature. Within every human, there's a heart that rages like a storm of need, memory, and hope. And as long as that storm churns, peace remains out of reach. Not in life, where the mind is restless, not in death, where regret and legacy linger. Still, they press on, because that is what humans do. They rise, they fall, they rebuild. They chase meaning, even as it slips through their fingers. Pain is the vessel that carries them forward. Desire, the compass that gives them direction. And together these forces guide them across the vast ocean of existence, relentlessly, beautifully, tragically human. What a peculiar creature indeed. To be human.